What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video of G37's Road to Redemption. So as you guys knew beforehand, it did get started, but then I ran into a problem with the wastegates. And as you can see, I have two bad wastegates. It took me a while to figure it out. I had some downtime, so I was doing other things. I was working overtime, so this project actually took a back seat because it was started. I mean, some of the repair work is done. So but I'm going to go over a little bit of what I found happened with my wastegates. No clue why it happened. The only thing I can really think of is it worked fine for 3 years. It did sit for like 9 or 10 months though. So my guess, just from sitting there and then starting it up, maybe it shrunk. I mean, I have no clue what to say, but we'll go over the parts today so you can kind of A, see how it works, and B, what I think went wrong. So the first thing we have here is going to be my Frankenstein gate. So I tried to take parts from this gate and put it parts with this gate so I didn't have to buy two. It didn't work. Some of the issues that I found were, as you can see here, when I was clamping it down, it was just going right off the exhaust side. It wasn't even clamping down. As you can see there, let me zoom in a little bit. Seems like it might have been, wore off, shrunk, changed a little bit, that opening. So that little, as it crashes, this little lip right here seals it, so it makes it so it doesn't leak out. I don't think that would be the issue, but I think it's one of many issues here. You can see it was leaking out in multiple spots. A little bit here, a little bit here at the top. Another problem I was having was I think this gate was getting stuck open. I don't have this one open in particular, so I can't show you the diaphragm, but what I can show you is this diaphragm that was not bad, but as you can see, it's got 3 creases in it. I think at certain points, when it hit certain boosts, it was getting stuck. As you can see, there's 3 of them. I actually ordered a new one from Tile, and they sent me one that was fucked up. And this was direct from Tile Sport. Very, very disappointing quality control. Another thing I found was, if you look here, okay, I'm trying to be my own cameraman here, guys, so you gotta kind of bear with me. These 2 inserts seem to have worn down. So what ends up happening is you're driving, this seats with this valve right on this particular ridge right here. And I think what was happening on both of them is it wasn't tight anymore. For whatever reason, it just wasn't tight. There was a little bit of play where I feel this part was moving up just a little bit and giving it enough enough of an area for the exhaust to go out and mess my spooling up. Because it would work 80% of the time, and then other times just I wouldn't get anything. I'd be like dead, completely dead. And then after a while, it started developing a clunk. So it clunked once, it would work. It stopped. It would clunk again, it wouldn't work. So I knew it was a moving part. But that's when I actually started going into the gates. So the reason this valve isn't being used is this middle point. Here's a shaft, obviously, and that, I guess, journal is where it would ride, where it goes up and down like this, was letting blow-by gases. So what ended up happening is here, this is why this diaphragm wasn't used. It was bad, and with it being seated this way, when I went to go swap out this diaphragm, I noticed that wasn't come out here. Come on. Well, as you can see, it doesn't want to come out. This was all covered in exhaust gas inside. So I know exhaust gas from the gate itself was getting inside the regulating area, which would be this. So you would have your banjo fitting here, and then you have your diaphragm, which here, let me see if I can get this going here. So your banjo fitting would be here. Your diaphragm sits in here. I happen to have one of the bad springs because my springs are bent too. And your spring sits here. And then when you hit the pressure inside that little area, that chamber, this would go up. But what I think was happening, there was extra pressure blow by on this. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know if, as you can see at the top, I kind of cleaned it off. But you can see at the top, there really shouldn't be any dirt there. There shouldn't be anything. There's just a couple issues, and I noticed I ended up having to make sure I put a little bit of low strength Loctite on it because they weren't holding as good over there. The banders, obviously I have, you know, everything with vacuum tape around correctly. This was the one I tried to use, but even this one was getting stuck, and as you can see, you know, I was blowing by right there. And that's unfortunate. There's not, at that point, there's nothing I can do because even the clamp seemed to. So here is the clamp. As you can see, the clamp is full of exhaust dust and debris. I'm gonna try to show us. As you can see, this is exactly, I think, how it was clamped. It'd blow here, go around, maybe cause some back pressure, blowing back in, you know, and then cause an issue. Because oddly enough, I never did see anything come off of that side. I never saw anything like that. Like, as you can see, this one's pretty clean. I did clean it, but not too bad. But you know, once I replaced both of them, it started working appropriately. You know, I put the 10.5. Oh, there goes a butt of mine. I just put the 9.5 spring in there, so it's gonna run at 9.5, and then I'm gonna go back to the G-Ready boost controller because I initially thought it was the boost controller that was bad. It was actually both these gates. Oh, another thing is this is kind of not flush anymore with my washers. So as you can see, that's pretty well worn. Probably a lot of user error for me taking it apart, putting it back together. I could have damaged it, but at the same token, I couldn't have caused all that to fucking happen. But either way, $700 learn. So now I have new wastegates, new oil pump, new battery. I bought a new battery. I got the AGM. All the audio equipment's in and good to go. Unfortunately, my subwoofers went. I mean, they were just sitting there for 4 or 5 years, so kind of had a feeling they might not last too long. But pretty straightforward to repair. I just got to get a pair of cheap subs, or mid bases. They were actually mid bases. I'll show you the, I don't know if you can see it here. I'll show you the box too real quick. But that's pretty much it. I'm just waiting for it to be regged. And, you know, unfortunately I have the CSF triple rad. So what I got to do is I got to replace that fucker. It's leaking again. I mean, unfortunately it's pretty common. Just so you guys can see, this is the box that I got. Really Zen closure. You can see it just pushes right back in. Gives it a nice little, you know, flush look. It can actually go back a little more. As you can see, there's a little gap. But still gives me usable trunk space. Give me a nice little base when I'm driving. Because, you know, it does make 600. It's not a slow car by any means. I'm not making like 200 horsepower. So the extra added weight doesn't really matter too much. But I did put sound deadening at the bottom. I think I have a video of that. I'll show you. But yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. I took it out for today. I have my buddy, he's a detailer. Maybe get ceramic coated because the paint got tore up. But yeah, I got a couple other things I want to deal with. I want to get the radiator replaced because of the CSF. The CSF is giving me a leaking like a sieve. I have an oil pan spacer. Really don't like it. It needs to be, you know, unfortunately when they put the engine together, they did a shit job. You know, a little seepage. Got to replace that, I think. I think I'm going to get a CJM pan. Get rid of that spacer. Go from a 10AN to an 8AN or just put a 10 on the fitting on the oil pump. I'll have to confirm that with boosted performance, though, that'll work. But yeah, so those are the plans. I'm you know, obviously I'm going to be driving it the whole summer. Quarantine's going to be all over here in Connecticut. And yeah, I look forward to it. I mean, obviously she's looking rough right now. But I did the engine work, and that's why, because I have my heating vent for my house. It shoots shit all in the house and covers the car. Show you a little bit more here. This is kind of the final product. I started switching to the blue hoses. As you can see, I have the Z1. I just went right off the nipple there, as you can see. It's looking good. She's looking good. I got, like I said, I have a bunch of minor projects. You know, swap the radiator, put an oil pan in, change the oil, and stuff like that. Once that stuff is done, the next thing I'll probably do is start buying some cosmetic parts, because the cosmetic parts are in pretty rough shape. You know, I see maybe some trunks, fenders, hoods, along with some soundproofing, because I definitely want to do some soundproofing on it. I do like a quiet ride when I'm not enjoying the speed, because obviously she's really, really quick. 600 horsepower is ridiculous. And that's not even turned up. That's only at like 16, 17 pounds. So, um, I do want to change the gear set out. I have my original OEM set. I want to put that in. But in order for me to do that, I'd probably have to add some torque. Because I think we had to pull timing on it because I didn't want to blow my tires out with the tune. What I'll end up doing, I think, is I need to redo my fuel system because everything that the installers touched did not go well. So I'm not sure they put all the clips in for the fuel injectors. I don't know. So I want to come winter. I already have the 1090Xs. I got to cut all the pigtails for the injectors. It's recommended not to use an intermediary harness. I'm gonna just cut them out, put in the new injectors. AAM didn't treat me great, but I think I can call them up and at least get a baseline tune. Let me go with Visconti. Last time I went to Visconti, he didn't want to really work with me. He did, and let me say he did a decent job, but he's more in the GTR scene. But yeah, that's pretty much the most recent update. I'm hoping to go cruise soon. Obviously with the quarantine going down. I mean, my work's picking up. I've been working. I've been doing overtime. I've been doing nights. I've been doing on call. I mean, I have to work the weekend. Just so I do own a house. I have a family. I'm gonna start. So sometimes the car takes a back, but I'll tell you when I took it out today, and it was really really enjoyable. I know she's looking beat up now, but give me a little while. And it saved me from buying an M4. So take it easy, guys. Till the next time. Hey, any questions, post, like, and subscribe.